Okay, so beautiful. Welcome to Yin, everyone. My name's Meg. I'm here obviously at Redhead. If you're joining me live tonight, make sure you leave a comment and let me know how you found the practice. And of course, if you're watching this back, again, leave a comment. Let me know how you found this. Tonight, we're actually going to start a little bit different. I really want to bring a practice of affirmations and gratitude into our practice tonight, specifically for our bodies. So we're actually going to start in a standing position, and we're going to come to this place of equanimity just by feeling where we are in space. There's been a lot of changes, obviously, with things going back, school especially today and things like that, which can be a little unsettling, and a lot of movement going around. So I really want us to feel a sense of grounding and stability in this practice tonight. The rest of the practice will be done on the floor, but make sure that you do have a bolster, a block, and a yoga strap. So we're going to come to a neutral standing position. We're going to pay attention to a part of our foot called the tripod of our foot. So 60% into the heels and 40% into the balls of the foot. And it should create a triangular shape into the foot. This space of the foot is what I want you to now focus on as you shut down your eyes. So just like we would do a seated meditation or seated breath work, we're doing exactly the same thing but standing. Sometimes this can be pretty confronting. It can kind of feel like we want to sit down or the body wants to move. And it's likely that's due to probably a sense of overdoing or busyness in our own lives, a life that is on the go consistently. We can feel a little rattled when we stop. We can feel the need to do more. We can feel the urge to go to the next thing, and this is what I'd like to cultivate in this practice tonight, is a practice of stillness and allowing ourselves to just be in this moment for what it is. So with the eyes closed, you might notice a gentle swaying of the body forward, back, side to side. But I really invite you to find a softness in the shoulders, to feel a heaviness in the bones, to let go of any tension in the jaw and in the face. And we're just going to breathe. And we're actually going to start with an affirmation right now to get you in your body. Every single morning when I wake up, I say thank you. Thank you for having a body so that I can explore, so that I can create, so that I can use this vehicle to get me through my day and to achieve everything that I've achieved in a day. So thank you to my physical body is one of the first things that I say to myself when I wake up. So if you haven't done that already today, we're going to start with a little affirmation right here. And I just want you to repeat this in your mind as we stand still here for another minute or so. Thank you, body, for everything you have done up to this moment today. Thank you, body, for everything you have done up to this moment today. Breathe in for 4 through the nose. And exhale any resistance to that affirmation. Let it go. Continue with that breath. Hold that affirmation in your heart. Give yourself permission to appreciate, to lean in, to respect, and to cultivate compassion for the skin we are in without the need for more. You need to take 4 more beautiful breaths here, just being. Notice the weight of the bones in the fingertips pull down to the ground. Feel the skin on the face start to soften and melt. Notice what it feels like to give yourself an hour of space. Take one more breath in. And a breath out. We're going to gently open our eyes. We're actually going to start with a little bit of movement. So we're going to do some really nice spinal waves. So it's definitely not something I would usually do in a yin class, but because this is a bit of a yin class based on some self-love and appreciation for the body, I want to just get into the joints a little bit here as we just move through some spinal waves. So, especially at night or the afternoon or whenever you're practicing this, we tend to be a society that sits so often in chairs, couches, cars, and we're constantly walking forward and not allowing our spine to do the things that our spine was designed to do. So just let your spine fluidly move here, an opportunity to let go of any rigidity or stuckness in the mind and in the body. Let it be what it is. It doesn't have to look like anything. Just explore the fields of this. Come back up to neutral, and is it possible now to change direction? And again, don't worry if this might have messed with your head a little bit. It probably did. Great. We always want to do the things that are challenging. Remembering that what we practice grows stronger. So if we practice a lot of sitting or not moving or not giving back to ourselves, then that becomes our reality. Beautiful. Coming up to stand. And then from this position, I'm just going to do some sideways lateral rolls. So we're just finding a bit of a wide space, and it can just simply start with this kind of swaying of the hips. The head goes one way as the hips flow to the other. And then just kind of make this your own. Maybe you go a bit wider, maybe the shoulders get involved. And we're kind of creating this like articulation, almost lizard-like, snake-like sensation through the spine. Close down your eyes and just be here for at least another 5 breaths. Just noticing how the joints all move fluidly with one another, a beautiful opportunity to get that synovial fluid moving through the joints. So not the usual start to a Yin Yoga class, but so I just want to shift a little bit of energy. It was probably a very interesting and different day for some people today. So energy is best moved. So let's come back up to standing. Take a moment to notice how that felt in your body. Breathe in and breathe out. You know, Rumi once said, it is when we are quiet, we are able to hear. So our first pose is going to be a dangle for our yin tonight. So we're going to use, I'm going to use a bolster and a block. Now you can use 2 blocks, you can use what you need. I want this to be a straight leg dangle tonight, so we want to try to lock out the leg. So if that means stacking up more blocks so that your legs are straight, perfect. So please grab whatever you need here. So whether it's 2 blocks or 1, it doesn't matter. And we're going to come into a straight leg dangle. So we're getting right into that posterior chain. So I'm finding here my arms resting onto the object. I'm going to take a breath in, and on the exhale, I'm just softening to the point where I can be held, but my legs are straight. It's going to look different for everyone, and just do your best to relax your head. So don't force it, of course, with Yin Yoga. This is a practice of softening and surrendering. We work with the connected tissue and fascia rather than the muscles. So when we come into a shape, we're looking for about 60% of feeling or sensation where you land in a place where you can stay, but you are not fighting it. It's a position where you can breathe and maintain. But if you are holding tension or it's too far, then that means you need to back out of it a bit. In Yin, of course, we stay anywhere from 3 minutes to 5 or 6 in a shape. And we try our best not to fidget or move. Therefore, we send a message of stillness from the brain neurally to the part of the body that we are working, in this case our hamstrings, to say it's okay for you guys to relax and let go. So in this first pose, we're only going to be here for about another 2 minutes. I want you to start to now bring the practice of breathing into this space. So all I want you to do in the next 2 minutes is breathe in the words, I choose to surrender, and breathe out the words, and let go. Breathe in, I choose to surrender. Breathe out and let go. Keep going with that breath, everyone. Stay with that affirmation. Be as soft as you can. Maybe that affirmation resonates for something in your day. Maybe you find you're still holding on to a moment that happened hours ago. And anything that happened hours ago is not necessary now. And it won't be necessary in an hour. And it won't be necessary tomorrow. The only thing that is important and relevant is now. So maybe through this practice, you're able to let the little things in your day go and create space. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. To come out of this, we're going to push up a little bit, walk our feet wide. And this is where if you need to put a block under your bum, we're going to support ourselves as we come into Malasana Yogi Squat. So with our Yogi Squat, the feet are on the ground, and I'm going to place the elbows on the inside of the knees. Now if you need to put a blanket underneath your heels for this squat, please do so, or of course sit onto a block or a bolster. We're going to be here for a little while. So finding that space into your yogi squat, again, if the heels are off the ground, slide a blanket underneath your heels or a cushion. That will help the heels rest onto something. And we want to drive the knees open gently. We're keeping the heart space open in this one and stretching the wrists. So again, if you've been on a computer or a device, the wrists and the shoulders and the spine really cop it. So hence why I wanted to do a few spinal waves at the start and then a really nice little wrist stretch here, whilst also opening the hips that of course become compressed when we sit in chairs or couches or cars for a long time during our day. So lots of bang for your buck out of your yogi squat. So closing down your eyes now as we settle in for a little bit more time. So we've got about 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this pose. We're here for 4. Again, through this practice tonight, I'm going to be quite quiet. I'm going to give you an affirmation for each pose. Now, if you find that you are faced with resistance from the affirmation that I say, it might be a beautiful opportunity to investigate or become curious about why we are being triggered. So use our triggers as our teachers. When we find that something pushes our button or we're like, I don't believe that, what's that to do with? We can actually look a little bit deeper and go, hang on a second, is there something there that I need to work through? For myself, especially over the last 2 to 4 weeks, I've been having so many teachers come up with my triggers and giving myself permission to sit with them and actually ask the question, what is it that I am unwilling to feel? So your affirmation for this pose: when things show up in my body, I choose to say thank you. When things show up in my body, I choose to say thank you. For about 2 minutes to go. If you want to now surrender the wrist down and just come into a curled squat, you're welcome, or you can stay where you were, just breathe. Anytime you find yourself strayed from this moment, might be thinking about dinner or work or an email or a conversation, gently come back to the affirmation and repeat the affirmation and repeat it again. It is only in presence that we can become aware and make a different choice. So 1 more minute, 6 more breaths, everyone. Take a breath in and a breath out. Slowly we are going to come down to our backs, however that is. And there's no rush. Finding your rebound of choice. Maybe that is with the knees knocked together in teepee pose. Maybe you've extended your legs out. I'll leave that up to you. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Pay attention to what it feels like to be still today. I know for myself this feels amazing. Had quite a busy day or back-to-back kind of day, and this essence of pausing is so powerful. Take a breath in and a breath out. So we're going to go into a lateral flexion of the spine. Again, a beautiful shape called Banana Asana. So both of the legs are extended. And we're going to bring the hands above the head as well. So we're in this long body, and it's super important you move through this one nice and slow. So what we're going to do first is just walk both of the ankles and the feet over to the left. So the body, the hands are extended above the head, but the feet have moved over to the left. Firstly, notice how that feels in your spine, and if that feels okay, you're then going to walk your wrists over to the left as well, creating flexion in the spine. We want to make sure the right shoulder blade is on the ground, and we're creating this crescent shape, compressing the left side of the waist and opening up the whole right side of the body. Now, for some of you, you might like to cross that right ankle over the left, but if that is too intense for you, then don't go there. And you can also catch your right wrist with your left hand, coming into Banana Asana. So we're breathing down the right side of the body. Make sure both your sitting bones are on the ground, so the right hip has not rolled off the ground at all here. Take a few breaths just to settle in and become still in this pose. We are here for about 3 more minutes. Again, I'm going to leave you with an affirmation in this shape. Notice how it feels when you repeat the affirmation to yourself. And if there is any resistance to the affirmation, it could be a beautiful question to ask yourself why. When I look in the mirror, I choose to see my body with gratitude, kindness, and compassion. When I look in the mirror, I choose to see my body with gratitude, kindness, and compassion. I understand that this might be a tough affirmation to swallow, but I want you to remember that we always have a choice. Remember that no matter what, every day that we wake up in a body. Every day is a brand new experience. Every day, see yourself for the first time. Remember that you are going to be in your body no matter what. You're going to go to work in it. You're going to take the kids to school in it. We're going to go to the gym in it. So why do we choose to put it down? Why do we choose to judge or compare? Why do we choose to try to fix it or look like another? So I invite you, every chance you get, to say thank you, I'm in you today. What can we go and achieve? Start to feel good about being in your body by coming back to gratitude, to giving yourself permission to appreciate it, to surrender to it, and to say thank you for everything that it does every single day. And with repetition and practice, I promise you the dialogue starts to change. We have 5 more breaths here. Make these last 2 breaths the biggest yet. Breathe in and really open up the rib cage on the right into the right lung. Exhale, feel everything deflate.
Do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. So we're going to slowly unravel and come back to neutral and pause here. So just take a moment to find a neutral spine. Let your body just reset and recalibrate through the tissue and the fascia. Let yourself feel held, nurtured, soft. So we're going to break this up with a happy baby between the sides. So start to draw the knees into the chest and then bring the knees wide. We're going to flex the feet and then reach the hands up on the inside of the shins and either catching the inner ankles, or if you can keep your tailbone down on the ground, then catch the underside of your feet. We're not here for too long, we're just here for like a minute. But I invite you to move it around, so a little bit of massage on the left and right side of the spine down into the kidneys. It should feel really good, so just allow your body to do what feels nice here. Breathe in and breathe out. So finding our banana asana on the other side. So we're going to extend again, and we start off with the feet first. So bring the hands above the head, walk the feet only first over to the right. Make sure that that feels okay first in your spine. If that's feeling good, then walk the hands over to the right as well. Now starting to get that lateral flexion in the left side of the body. If you like, that left ankle can cross over the right, and then allowing your right wrist to catch your left. And when you find yourself into this position, I invite you to soften your left shoulder down. Feel the compression in the right side of the waist and the length in the left side of the body. Breathe in. And breathe out. Your affirmation for this shape: I speak to myself with the same language I would speak to a loved one. I speak to myself with the same language I speak to a loved one. Breathe in. Breathe out. You know, they say that we can only love another as much as we love ourselves. When we start to lift our worthiness and the way that we feel about ourselves, we raise our vibration, we raise our energy, and we start to show up. Everything is energy. That's all there is to it. So if we want to feel more love, then it must start with us. So make that a practice. Fall in love with the practice of kindness and compassion towards yourself. And repeat it and be consistent and practice it every single day. until you notice change. That's how simple it is. But we have to be repetitive. We have to put in the work. But I promise you it is that simple. So allow this affirmation now to sit within every single cell of your body, your mind and your heart. We are here for 1.5 more minutes, so that's 10 more breaths. Just enjoy these last 2 breaths and make them quite large as you inhale, fill up and expand. And exhale, let go, release. Doing that again, breathe in. And breathe out, start to gently unravel back to a neutral space. So that hands come by the side, breathe in. Breathe out. So slowly we're going to roll to one side. We're going to come up to seated, no rush time. Taking a moment to bring yourself up to seated, and we're going to come into Shoelace Pose. So with Shoelace Pose, again, if you have tight hips today, you'll just be working a cross-legged position like this, and either sitting on a blanket or the edge of a cushion. But if you're coming into Shoelace, we're going to tuck the left knee under and slide that right leg on top. You might need to lift up and adjust. We want both of the sit bones on the ground. It's okay if the knees are not in alignment, but so long as both sit bones are on the ground, then that is totally fine. We are going to, I should have grabbed this beforehand, goodness. We are going to fold forward. So a bolster is a really nice thing to have in front of you to rest your head on, however that is to fold forward if you need it. So please find something. This might be more than enough with the legs crossed. So we're going to take a full breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to start to fold to your degree. So this tends to happen a lot in this pose. I used to get really angry in this pose and I'd be like, oh, I can't fold forward, and I'd tense up in a little ball. So I want you to let your body go as much as possible to give yourself permission to soften. So your affirmation in this pose: when I notice my body react with tension, I give myself permission to yield and surrender. When I notice my body react with tension, I give myself permission to yield and surrender. So in my book, What's Your Language, the very first 2 steps of the Be Here method that I share is body and emotion. So our body will have a somatic experience when we are triggered by an emotion, right? When we are out in our environment and someone says something that pushes our buttons, the first thing that will happen is your body will close. Your shoulders will tense, you'll feel bloated, might feel sick in your tummy, your jaw will lock up and your breath will speed up. You're having a somatic response in your body. This is great. This means that if you are present, you can actually ask yourself the question, what is the emotion associated with that? Jealousy, judgment, comparison, anxiety, fear, doubt, worry, shame, guilt, blame, whatever it is. And then in that moment, you have the opportunity to soften your body. Because whatever is going on in that moment is going to happen anyway. But you don't have to react. You can still stay soft and open and yield to whatever is unfolding without being reactive. When we're reactive in our bodies, we close off our hearts and we can't make kind choices to ourselves. So we get caught up in the judgment, the comparison, the judgment, the shame, the guilt, the blame. And it becomes a story. And then we hold it in our bodies for an hour. We hold it in our bodies for a week. Sometimes, like especially in my story, I held it in my body for years. So in the moment, we have what's called presence. And in presence, we can choose again to let go. Understand that the moment might be uncomfortable, definitely. By saying, wow, this is really uncomfortable, this makes me feel. But we can still find a softness in the chaos. Breathe in and breathe out. So we have 1 more minute here, everyone. Try to let go. Take 1 more full breath in and a breath out. Slowly, like super slowly start to unravel. And come out of that gently. We're going to place the feet on the ground, hip distance apart, the hands behind, and just kind of let your knees flop to one direction and let your head flop to the other. And inhale, come back to center, and exhale over the other side. So our bodies are truly incredible, right? They really are. They are constantly talking to us. They're telling us when we're hungry, they're telling us when we're full. With our intuition, they're telling us what's safe and what's not. They're telling us when we are triggered by emotion. They're telling us to listen when we have an injury or resilience. It's so, so important that we be still enough so that we can hear what they have to say. All right, guys, let's just take that straight to the other side. So the left leg is going on top now. Again, cross-legged is totally fine. I was cross-legged for many years when I first started Yin. I was very tight through my traps because of stress, and I closed off my heart a lot, so I was constantly doing this. I had really huge traps, tight shoulders, and I had really, really tight hips because I stored a lot. That's where we store our emotions, which is in that Sacral Chakra, which is our emotional center, which is right in this area. So take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're just going to start to soften and fold forward. So right now, the world we're living in, there's a lot going on with the root chakra, which is our base chakra, our center for survival. So our root chakra is blocked by fear, right? So as you can see, like it's a different world that we live in at the moment. There's a lot of fear going around. So we can feel very ungrounded in our bodies, and that has an effect on us where we'll feel unstable, unsettled. We will feel like we've lost a sense of balance and stability. We will feel completely overwhelmed, and we'll find that physically we'll have a lot less balance and the ability to feel grounded. And of course, moving up to that sacral chakra, the center for our emotions, our creativity, it's also our sexual and sensual region as well, and how we feel about ourselves. So this chakra is blocked by shame. So when we can clear out the old stories of shame, or what it is generally around like old childhood beliefs, we can actually move into this moment and ask ourselves the question, is this really true for me anymore? Do I really believe that about myself anymore? No, of course we don't, because this moment is the only moment we have. Which means that all of those stories around the shame of how we feel about something or what's happened is now irrelevant. Just think how powerful that is. So giving ourselves permission to let go of our past means that we clear up space in our bodies. When we clear up space in our bodies, we clear out space in our minds. That's why Yin is such a beautiful internal practice. To recognize that when things come up, those old stories or limitations or beliefs, it is an invitation to let them in, to feel, to heal, and actually ask ourselves the question, is this true? And I guarantee you in this moment it is not. So breathe in and breathe out your affirmation for this pose. I choose to sit with my emotions rather than numb or run. I choose to sit with my emotions rather than numb or run. We have 1 more minute to go. Take a breath in and a breath out. Super slow. You'll make your way up. just unravel here. We're going to come into frog pose. So we're going to come onto all fours first. Let's do a little bit of movement. So I want you to just move your spine a little bit in any direction that feels good. In Yin, we call this moving of chi, prana, energy. Especially if you have any of those stuck, emotions or old stories, it's really nice to let them come up in these poses and just feel it, to feel the shittiness of it, right? And to just give yourself permission to be with it, an opportunity to forgive, to surrender to it, to yield to it and let go. Michael Singer says in the Untethered Soul, he says, nothing in this world is worth holding onto or closing your heart over. Nothing. And it isn't. So, frog pose. Let's do it. So we're going to fold over our mat a couple of times, or you can use a blanket, whatever you've got. I'm going to do the mat. So that way it just helps the knees, and we bring the knees wide. Now, if you're new to this pose, you're going to bring the heels together and you're going to come into tadpole pose, where you're going to sink back over the heels like this and let the forehead come down. So that's a nice way to start into frog pose. But if you're a seasoned regular to frog, I love frog pose. I don't think everybody loves frog pose, but I dig it. We're going to bring the knees out nice and wide, and then bring the ankles either in line with the knees or a bit wider. Now, you can use a bolster to come down on, so this can be pretty intense for some people, so feel free to bring your forearms down to a bolster and then slide yourself back a little bit so you're getting into the hips. But if you've got the mobility into the hips and it's feeling good, we're going to slide our chest down to the floor and pull our hips back. Pull our hips back somewhat over towards the heels. You will feel it, and then just allow yourself to be. So we're going to be here for the remainder of the class. I'm kidding, it's okay. No, we are going to be here for just 3 minutes. So let yourself surrender. Your affirmation: I choose to be curious, not critical, about the dialogue I speak to myself. I choose to be curious, not critical, about the dialogue I speak to myself. So when we talk to ourselves, we do it often, myself included. We have nearly 70,000 thoughts a day. If we can be aware in that moment and catch the dialogue, right? Oh, that's a shitty thing I just said to myself. That doesn't feel good. That's not what I would say to my child, my loved one, or my best friend. You then have the opportunity to interrupt the pattern and choose again. So get curious about the things and the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the behaviors you do. They will always be our biggest teachers. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more minutes. At any point you get to a moment where you can't feel anything, or it's become easy, you can always extend the knees out a little bit wider. But I'm sure you're all feeling something. We never ever want to feel pain, but discomfort is what we are chasing. Marissa Peer once said, make the unfamiliar familiar. So if we want to change the dialogue that we speak to ourselves, we got to practice and repeat a new set of words, a new set of thoughts that will start to create a new behavior, new actions, and a new experience. And that change of a new experience creates new emotions, which is neuroplasticity in a nutshell. We start to change our wiring in our brain. We start to become a different person. We start to see things from a new point of view. If we have used our willpower to practice the same dialogue for years on end, then we can use that same willpower to change it now. Give yourself the time. You deserve it. Take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. To come out of this, I like to bring the hands by the side of the chest and push up. And as I do, bring the knees in slightly and round the spine into an angry cat's. Just hold. So we're going to come into a twist on the left and the right. And you're going to need your block or your bolster because we're going to finish with a heart opener. But we're going to do our twist first. So coming down to your back, and I'm going to turn right over to my left side today. Actually, if you've got your bolster, that could be a nice option. So turning onto your left hip, bolster out to the left, right leg comes over. Now you don't have to take this option. Heel the right shoulder all the way over to the ground. If that is too intense, just come back to a regular supine twist. And then just allow the body to now surrender and let go. Your affirmation for this shape. I let my body be my teacher. I let my body be my teacher. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're just going to be here for about another 5 or 6 breaths, just a minute and a half each side on your twist. Instead of what we can criticize with our body, ask yourself, what can I learn? Take a breath in and a breath out. Slowly come back through center. It's a very slow transition to the other side, to the bolster side across the belly, and land on the right. You're going to roll to the right and throw the left leg over. And you do feel that left shoulder out and across, so the scapula is on the ground, shoulder blades are relaxed, and just breathe in. Breathe out. When I am faced with adversity in my environment, I choose to respond rather than react. When I am faced with adversity in my environment, I choose to respond, not react. Take a breath in and a breath out. Unwind yourself. And I'm going to invite tonight for your Shavasana to slide your bolster or block, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use a bolster tonight. Long ways, and we're going to finish this practice in a reclined butterfly pose. So still allowing your feet to touch together. Allow the shoulders to melt side to side on the bolster. Allow the scapula to soften. Now, you are welcome to either stay here or regular Shavasana. I'll leave that up to you. And just one final affirmation here. It's now time to be kind to my body, my mind, and my heart. It's now time to be kind to my body, to my mind, and my heart. Breathe in. And open your mouth on your exhale, let go, surrender, yield, and receive. I'll let you know when we're coming out. These next 3 breaths that you're here, I want you to really invite in the essence and energy of what you would like to receive in every single cell of your body. So breathe in the words I feel. Breathe out, give yourself permission to release and let go of something. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Take one more full breath in. Open-mouthed exhale. Start to move your fingers, your toes very gently. Start to lift the knees in. And to come out of this space, all I invite you to do is just roll to the left and you'll find yourself into a fetal position on the ground. Take a moment of full-on gratitude and appreciation. Remember, your body is dying for you to appreciate it daily. To get so excited to wake up and have 2 feet and a heartbeat. To get around in this vehicle that we call a body. To explore, to play, to create, to love, to touch, to eat, to shower, to move, to experience life. Say thank you. Keep your eyes closed, very gently start to come up to seated. There's no rush. It's finding your way to a seated position. Just keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands maybe to your heart space. And I want you to breathe into this heart space a sense of utmost compassion. A sense of kindness and love that you would give to a loved one. And let yourself openly receive without judgment. Notice how that feels. Know that you can do that in every and any moment. Fall in love with the idea of being kinder, more compassionate, and appreciating the body we are in without the need for more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thumbs to the third eye, from my heart to yours. Namaste. Thanks everyone. I hope you had a beautiful class. It was a pleasure to teach Yin Yoga here at the Sanctuary at Redhead. I'm so grateful for you all. I look forward to seeing you right here again tomorrow and on Saturday. Thank you so much, guys. Let me know in the comments how you found this as well. And of course, if you're watching it back on replay.